This is the plaintiff, Phil Selman. He says he was the MC at the defendant's wedding, and after working the crowd for 5+ hours, the bride comes up to him and asks what he was doing here. Huh? He had just MC'd the entire wedding and was then kicked out of the place by the Nutty Bride. When he was hired, he was a white Jewish guy, but seems they wanted to miraculously transform him into Flavor Flav. Bottom line, they owe him $300, and that's just what he's suing for today. This is the defendant, Christina Rogers. She says the plaintiff was a horror to deal with. Sat around doing nothing at her wedding, and thank God her father-in-law, also an MC, was there because he took over and saved the day. The guy should be paying her because he got to attend a nice fun party and did no work whatsoever. She's accused of silencing a master of ceremonies.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. This case is hilarious. The plaintiff was an MC at the defendant's wedding, and he says he worked all night, and at the end she threw him out and pretended like she never hired him. But the defendant says he did a lot of nothing. It's the case of MC got hammered.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Phil Selman,
Yes.
You are suing Christina Rogers, the bride in a wedding that you were employed at to be an MC because, according to you, she hasn't paid the rest of the balance for your services. You agree that you didn't, but feel he hasn't earned them. Tell me what's going on.
Okay. They found me through a website. I'm a stand-up comedian. And as it said on the web, I'm advertised as a comedian on this particular website. And they wrote help, H-E-L, with 3 P's, please, with 2 A's. I need an MC for my wedding. I have a DJ, but he needs an MC. Please help. My wedding is in 2.5 weeks. I responded.
What had happened? Did you not get an MC, or the MC failed you, or?
No, we didn't have an MC.
But why didn't your DJ find you one?
Because my father-in-law is his MC.
Oh, and you wanted to give him a break.
Yes.
All right. So, but had you had a recommendation about him, or no? That was just cold.
No.
All right. So then you respond to it, and how do you respond? You
I
call
responded by saying, first with the email, I said, I'm a stand-up comedian, but I can MC your wedding. We spoke on the phone.
Have you ever emceed a wedding?
No, and I made it clear. I said, I've never emceed a wedding.
Okay.
I've emceed many different types of events, and I've done stand-up comedy for many, many years.
How many years have you done stand-up comedy?
Over 30 years.
Okay. Where have you done it?
Everywhere.
I tell jokes in my house. It doesn't make me a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
Where do you do it?
40 states, comedy clubs, colleges. I've done shows in prisons. I've done bachelor parties. I went to the Middle East. I went to Kuwait for the military.
Okay.
And I've never been disrespected as I was by them. Initially, we agreed for $400 for 4 hours. And then she said, well, I'd like you to come and meet with us at our house. So already we're adding another hour to my time. I went and met with them at their house, and I made it very clear. I said, I'm not a wedding MC, and I've never MC'd at a wedding. I've been to.
So what were you going to do at this one? That's
I would MC. I have a piece of paper which shows all the things that I did, which she sent to me.
Okay, can I see that?
Yes.
Okay, so go on.
And so I went to their house and I met with them, and they paid me a 25% deposit. They were willing to pay me the full amount, but I said, give me the 25% deposit, $100, and pay me the balance when I get there. Now, I got there.
Why wouldn't you just take the whole amount?
Because I'm stupid. I was trusting.
No, but why would you refuse to take the whole amount?
Because I'm stupid. Because it was a wedding. I thought it was a wedding. I said, maybe I'll get a tip. I thought maybe I'd be getting a tip.
But why wouldn't you just get the whole amount and then get a tip at the end? Tips aren't related to the...
I made a mistake. I don't know
how much business you do, but that's kind of weird.
I do a lot of business, but
Okay.
I made a mistake. Now, the thing is, when I got to the wedding, what happened was I'd been there for 5 hours. At 10 o'clock, Ms.
What'd
Rogers...
you do? What'd you do, though, for the 5 hours? Don't fast forward like that.
Okay, all right. Well, it started late. It didn't start until... It was supposed to start at 7. It did not start until after 8 o'clock. So, and basically... Within that hour, I did everything that they needed on the paper. I did,
which is what?
Introduced the wedding party, the first dance with the bride and the groom, the bride and her father, the groom and his mother, the speeches. People got up to make speeches beforehand, and then I introduced the pastor to give to make a blessing.
Right.
And then as I said, then people were going to be eating dinner.
Okay, but wouldn't okay? what I'm confused about is really the DJ can do the 10 things that are listed there: cake cutting, father-daughter dance, but
Right.
and now we have the father-daughter dance. We have the bride and the father of the bride come up. I mean, the emceeing part is the getting people up and dancing part.
But that's wedding MC. I'm not a wedding MC. That's
Even
not,
when you took a job as a wedding MC?
I made it clear.
I
that,
understand
yes,
that,
right.
that you don't have experience as being a wedding. So what did you do? Just literally the things that are here?
Make the announcements, and I did try to get people to get up and dance, but they weren't responding to me. I look when I met with them, I look like this. When I was getting to the wedding, it wasn't like I was going to be Flavor Flav or MC Hammer.
I don't think they want you to be black.
No, I'm not. That's not the point. No. Somebody came up to me.
And who's the gentleman who's with you?
He's my character witness. No, the point is somebody
He's
came
your
up.
character witness.
Yes, because
You never met him before.
No.
You brought him for a little flavor.
No, I brought him as a because
I mean, come on,
at the end.
right?
At the end.
Do you know him?
Yes, Your Honor, I know him. I book Phil Sumner a lot. He's a very funny man. I'm Uncle Jimmy
I'm not
Mack.
laughing yet.
Yeah, but the whole thing is funny.
Okay, go on.
All right, so at 10 o'clock, she came up to me and she said, "Why are you still here? You're not doing anything."
bride?
The bride, yes.
I did.
So was that the first time you had an inkling that they were upset?
Yes,
No.
yes.
Okay, and
Well, people started, about 15 minutes before that, people started coming up and getting in my face and saying, "Why aren't you getting people up to dance? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing
what
that?"
did- what did
and
you
I
say?
said, because I'm a stand-up comedian.
so why weren't you making jokes or something?
Because I wasn't booked as a stand-up comedian. I was
You were booked as an
MC,
MC, but you
Yes.
weren't going to be an MC, and so you weren't going to be a stand-up comedian. You weren't going to be. You were just a guy who read this email,
That's it. That was what I was.
and they were going to pay $400
When
to
I
read
went
the
to her
email.
house, that's what I was told to do when I came to her
Okay,
house.
let me hear your side of what he was told to do. Go ahead.
He came to my house. He met with me, my sister, my husband now, and the DJ. He said, oh, I can do this. I've done it. Even he cut me off so many times. I got it. I said, all I want is the crowd to be hyped. I want you to get everybody involved. He said, I got it. I know most of the song that's going to be played. I'm a stand-up comedian. I said, well, you could tell a few jokes here and there. He said, okay, I could do that. Okay. After the ceremony, he needed help to introduce the names. My coordinator's assistant helped him. She was whispering the names in his ear.
Okay, can I see the names?
I don't have the names with me.
Okay, are they complicated? Are they?
No, they're not complicated.
Like what?
Ashley, Shanice, Nikki, Charlotte, you can't pronounce those names.
How do you spell Shanice?
Shanice.
Nice. No, I'd probably get that, but so there's nothing. You keep talking about that. You've mentioned that a few times in your answer to the complaint, but I'd want to get it right. So
Yes.
I think it's a good idea to have somebody pronouncing it right before I say it,
Yes.
so I don't mess it up. That part's not bad.
Yes.
Okay.
So during the ceremony, during the reception, he did introduce wedding party. He introduced my father and my dance, his mother and his dance. After that, he sat there I saw him like this. I saw him sit down with his legs crossed. And I was getting so upset because I'm like, my wedding is turning into a disaster. It's boring. He's not doing what he told me he would do, which was get the crowd hyped. He lied to me, told me that he knew all the songs. He didn't know not one song that was played.
But how do you know he didn't know a song? Like, what did you expect him to do about knowing the songs?
He said he would introduce the songs. He didn't introduce not one. Had it not been for my father-in-law, my wedding would have been a disaster.
So what'd your father-in-law do?
He emceed.
And he's an MC by trade? That's what he does? Or
Yes.
that's what he does at night? Or
He's a natural born MC. That's actually my father, a natural born MC.
Oh, has he ever done it?
Yes.
He's done a whole lot of events, and he has a name.
Okay. But what you're saying is that your dad got up and your dad started hyping people throughout the song.
Yes.
And that went on for how many songs? I mean, he did that the rest
whole
of the
night.
The entire night.
Entire night.
Yes.
Okay, so now it's time for him to go, and who decides he's not going to get paid because he didn't do the job you wanted?
Me.
Okay, so you're actually fighting with him at the wedding? At your wedding?
I didn't go to him. My mom, I was gonna go to him, and then my mom said she'll take care of it. I felt like I'm the bride. You know, why should I be going through this on my wedding day?
Right.
He came at me. Had not my father been in between, he came at me. He was gonna come at me. Had not my father stopped him and said, "You need to go."
So, is it the job of an MC to do things like get people up to dance? I mean, is that part of the drill?
Yes, it is. I believe that MC should be able to hype up the crowd. And
Is that the job, to hype up the crowd?
Yeah, the hype band is most definite needed.
So they're a hype person. It's not just like introducing people and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's part of their job, and that any good MC is going to be able to read the crowd and be able to tell what he needs to do or she needs to do.
This guy's in trouble if you're right, going inside the courtroom.
At what time was he released, or what time did he leave?
He left when it was over. I went to him and I said, everybody's bored. You don't have to stay if you're not going to do anything.
And what did he say to you?
I don't know, because I walked away.
Okay. And that was when? At the end or before the end?
No, this was before my father-in-law started doing what he was doing.
Got it. Okay. So, Mr. Selman, I don't think that their complaint is that you've never been an MC before and you misrepresented that you had been an MC before. I think that their complaint was that you misrepresented that you would MC. Because emceeing is more than just saying, and here's the bridal party. Things that are in this email.
That's all that I agreed. That's what I said.
They're going to pay $400 to read this email?
No.
That's and I tried to get the people to do.
Okay,
they didn't respond to me.
If you said all I'll do is introduce the wedding party, you think she would have hired you as an MC? Because that's not what an MC is.
She said you just need to make the announcements, and then she said you don't need to announce all the songs. And if I might add,
I wouldn't announce all the songs, but I'm saying you're testifying to me that she never once told you I want you to hype up the party. Just a second. I've done this without you my whole life.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I want you to hype up the party. I want you to get the guests excited. I want everybody dancing. She never said anything like that to you.
I said I can try, but that's not what I do.
I can try. They say you don't even try. I've got you telling me that you didn't do anything because that's all you got hired to do.
If I might.
No, they're not going to pay you the remaining $300. Verdict for the defendant.
Thank you.
Phil Selman, ladies and gentlemen, comes out of the courtroom on the losing end of this case. What's your thought about this?
My thought about this is that they were wrong. I did what I said I was going to do, and I believe life is all about karma. What they did was wrong. I didn't even get the chance to say things that were when I was threatened and slandered. And when this marriage ends after 6 months, I certainly won't be emceeing at her next wedding, and I won't be going to any more weddings in the future.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Right down this way. All right. Thank you. All right, so step on in here. You win your case. What are you thinking about coming out of the courtroom?
I'm so happy that I won because he didn't do anything at my wedding. He is a con artist, and he sat there and lied to her. Mm-hmm. That's what he did. So I'm so happy with the results.
What was the lie he told?
He said that he never said that he was going to MC. Why would I pay you $400 for standing at my wedding eating like a guest?
Reading that email.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he tell any jokes?
No, he didn't do anything.
You think he's funny?
No.
Harvey?
Okay, when you hire somebody for your wedding at the reception or whatever, I am telling you, trust me on this one. We've had a lot of cases like this. Get everything in writing on specifically what these people, like the photographer, the MC, the DJ, what they're supposed to do. Get as specific as the playlist for the DJ. Everything should be in writing. The more you leave to chance, the more something's going to go wrong. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.